The whole thing about successful people being successful because they like what they do is I have yet to find one, whether it be basketball player, football player, programmer, actor, they enjoy what they do. That's why they do it. I mean, listen to some of the stories of them. I mean, you'll have people that used to be bus boys. I mean, and then they said, you know what, I want to go to Broadway, and they went to Broadway, then ended up on movies. I mean, then you have scientists. You can look into them. They were ridiculed for being smart in school, ended up being multimillionaires, solving things like how in Germany they found they can capture light in crystals. If you enjoy what you do, I mean, sport wise too. If you play baseball, you want to enjoy it. It's no fun playing and just not doing anything. I mean, that's a big part of school too. That's how you find what you are good at. I don't really like saying it, but I am pretty good at coding for in a few different languages for websites and software and games development, things like that. Well, when I was 8, I had my first desktop. Nothing like this. It was an old Dell. I think it was a 2000 something. It was really old, and I had found out about Flash games. So those little 2D games that people would make, kind of just like, oh, it's a little game. And I always wanted to try and make one, so I would spend hours on it. Just, oh, if I can find some way to make a game, I would be so happy. So I've kind of just been looking through. I would look through websites just like how do I make a game or things like that, and it's just really sparked an interest and just started looking towards everything on computers from video editing to 3D to coding. I mean, it's all important, and just found it fun, unlike some people. I've only taken, I believe, one class really, and that was from FSCJ, and that was an online course, and that was the only course I took, and I already knew everything because of YouTube and things like a website called Stack Overflow, where you can go to for any type of computer question, whether it's from Photoshop all the way down to coding. I mean, you can find tutorials on almost anything for it. So I just kind of self-taught and experimented with it. I felt like today's society, I mean, you'll look through it and you have all those people that are just, they don't want to do anything. They just want to have it handed to them. So you'll have the people that they don't want to make the game, they want to play it. But I'm the person that wants to actually know how it works and look at the inside of it, kind of how you want to fix a car, where you want to see what's on the inside, see what the problem is, or see how it works. Reverse engineer it in a way. So it's kind of the motivation. Also, it's really fun. There are two people that I talk to sometimes that help me through if I have development issues or if I just have questions, because they're really good with coding, and they also, since they're older, they've had more time to code. So one of them actually, he's just getting he's made a game, and it's called Power Up, and he's been developing it for 2 years. He's gotten it on the Xbox Live network, so it's for purchase on that, and he's also getting it for sale on the PC. And it is 2 years of hard work, and I can go and I can just email him, say, hey, I need help with this and this, and he'll give me an explanation. So if I need help with coding and physics, he can say, okay, well, you can just have the blah blah, and I'll implement it in the code. And same with the other guy, he helps me with 3D coding, which is a whole different thing, but it's something you can't just sit down and learn. You need to have someone to help you through it, because you need to know, I believe it was trig and some calculus for it. So I've had to ask him for help since I'm only in algebra or algebra 1, but these two have really helped me through it, and they've seen my work, and they know that they've helped with it, and I always try and give them credit for it too, because without them I wouldn't know how to do some of these things with like physics or collisions. So actually, I had found the one who made the game Power Up on YouTube. He had just released the first alpha, so I sent him a message saying, hey, I like what you did, and I started asking what language you use, what kind of external libraries, so like things to help you get art into the game easier and models, things like that. And after that, he just kind of would help me, and I'd be like, oh, that's really cool. So as time went on, we'd start emailing, and he actually would help me with bits of code. Like he'd send me bits of code if I needed them, and I'd try them out, and he'd say, okay, now since I don't want to give you the entire thing, he'd quiz me with it basically and say, add this and what happens, and kind of things like that. So I mean, it really works out because the community is so large. You can find people who will help you. I mean, there are pros on some of these websites, and you won't even realize it until a few months later when you realize, wow, they made this software, this game, and they can help you. I mean, it's crazy. I called it TextPad, but it was a simple writing tool, and I had it where it just opened up on the side of your computer, and you could type notes while watching a video or something. And then 2 months ago, I actually I really finished it, where you could save files, open files, and things like that. So it'd been kind of a process working on it, but that was the first project I actually fully completed after I got the laptop. So I mean, it was a huge accomplishment after I finished it, and I was so happy when I finished it. A few months ago, my dad he told me that his friend uh, was looking for a programmer for this website, and so I said, hey, you should say you have a son who can program. So he said, okay, I'll do it. And I didn't think he'd do it. I thought he was kidding because I did not think I'd be ready for it. But so after talking with him, it was he introduced me, but I was actually talking. Um, he started to tell me that, oh, well, we have a website you can work on. And that's a different step from where I was, because that was one of the first things I had learned, which was web development. And that's been 2 years since I looked at it. So I was talking to the tech advisor, and when he was telling me the languages, I realized, well, if I can do this with one language, I can go back over, learn these, and have the job. Well, 3 days before Christmas, it was confirmed that I have the job, and I'm just waiting to get connected to it so I can actually begin development on the web page. The base website is the United States Racing Club, which is NASCAR and Formula One. And this is the website where you can view the live updates for a race, or you can go to the merchandise store and buy hats for the racers or things like that. And you can also get, I believe you can get passes for the races. And what I'm doing is I'm making a website that is like it, but it's more of a quick update site. So if you don't have time to log into this social media page for it, you can go onto it. It'll give you the listings. It's like, okay, there's this, this, and this. And also, if you do have more time, there are things on it like sponsorship for big companies and things like that. So I'll be handling a smaller side to it, which is the updates like Twitter, like tweets, Facebook updates, things like that that'll appear on it. But also the bigger side for like big companies wanting to sponsor these cars. So I'll be kind of handling the little and big stuff at the same time. Well, what's funny is I'm using this tool right here, the Sublime Text Editor, and there's that tool, and then I'm also going to be using three, four languages for it, which would be HTML, PHP, MySQL, and jQuery, and they're all based around each other. So I mean, it's nothing crazy, but that's this and a few languages. I might not be the first, but it is pretty amazing. And what's funny, one of the first 14-year-olds I'd seen do this is Santiago Gonzalez, and he has a video on YouTube from Big Think YouTube, and he's learned 21 languages, and he was one of the big reasons I wanted to keep learning, because I wanted to be as good as him. 21 languages, he's developed apps for the iPad and iPhone and Mac, and he's already going to college at 14, so I mean, that's something I wish I could do. It's kind of just crazy thinking that I'm 14 and already have a job that can support me, really. I mean, this is not like working at Publix or one of those things, which is a great start, but I mean, I started delivering papers with my brother and dad, so I mean, I went from that to a really, really just important job to me. So I mean, if I can just keep focused on my work and make sure I have my morals correct, I can keep on working and just enjoy what I do with my life. I can't think of anything that'd make me happier.